A very good evening to one and all. I welcome you all to this news analysis initiative. These are the articles that are important from today's newspaper. See, the first article for the day, government conveys concern to US over cancellation of H-1B visa interviews. So, India has raised concerns with the United States over this sudden mass cancellations of H-1B visa interviews. And the reason given by US authorities is enhanced vetting. That is including the scrutiny of social media posts and online profiles. So most affected applicants were already in India for visa stamping and are now stranded. They are unable to return to the US because they do not have a valid H-1B visa. The next article for the day, analyze previous terror cases, boost capabilities, our Home Minister. Okay. The Home Minister has asked police forces and central agencies to study all terror attacks from India and across the world that happened in the last 1 year. And the idea is very simple. Learn from past attacks to prevent future ones. And he was speaking at the Anti-Terrorism Conference 2025, which was organized by the National Investigation Agency. See, a key warning here is terrorism is changing globally because of technology. So, India must prepare for future invisible tech-driven threats, not just old-style attacks. And he also launched three important tools: an updated NIA crime manual, a database on organized crime networks, a lost and recovered weapons database. He also highlighted the creation of a common anti-terrorism squad structure across states. So this will ensure uniform training, preparation and faster coordination across the country. See, the next article is regarding the Aravalis, and it's been continuously in news one way or the other. So we'll just look into that. Okay. So the Aravali range is one of the oldest mountain systems in the world, stretching from Delhi to Gujarat across Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. And for years, illegal mining here has caused serious environmental damage like groundwater depletion, air pollution and desertification. And because of this, Supreme Court has asked the center to come up with a clear scientific definition of what exactly counts as the Aravalis. So mining can be regulated properly. But what went wrong is, despite the expert committees, satellite data and technical studies, the center failed for over a year to finalize a uniform definition. Only after the Supreme Court warned of the contempt action, a new subcommittee was formed. And instead of clearly defining the Aravalis, this committee changed the goal itself. That is, it tried to balance ecology with mining interests, especially keeping in mind the 2019 National Mineral Policy, which promotes mining of critical minerals. So, this 2019 National Mineral Policy becomes very important for us. Okay. Now, the final definition that they have arrived protects only hills that rise more than 100 meters above local ground level. And what does that mean? Only tall hills are protected, and most of the Aravalis like low, ancient and weathered hills are left out. So these excluded areas could now be open to mining. However, the activists and the experts give a different opinion. They say that earlier scientific studies, including one by the Forest Survey of India, said slope, not just height, matters. Okay, even gentle hills are ecologically important, and flat areas near hills also stabilize the ecosystem. But the new definition focuses narrowly on height, which could allow mining in most parts of the 700-kilometer range. So what happened is the Supreme Court steps in again, and after public outrage, the Environment Minister has clarified that no new mining licenses will be given for now. A management plan for sustainable mining will be prepared, and this plan will be done by Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education. And this plan must clearly mark like no mining zones, highly sensitive areas and areas where limited and tightly regulated mining may be allowed. Regarding this article, ex-IAS officer convicted for 12th time. This is regarding a corruption case. You can quote this example. See, the next example or a case study that you can quote here is the students allege that caste bias or discrimination is shown by teachers in a government school. So you can also quote this as your example. And the next article for the day, gates and windows. This article is basically warning us about a serious problem with how electoral rolls are being revised in India right now. And the Election Commission says the goal is simple and reasonable to clean voter lists by removing duplicates, wrong addresses, or names of people who have died or moved away. No one disputes that such cleaning is needed, but the problem is how it is being done. Okay, the special intensive revision or SIR is happening too fast and in a way that shifts the responsibility from the state to the voter. Earlier, the state had to ensure you were included. Now the voter has to repeatedly prove they deserve to stay on the list. And digital tools are being used, but they are not neutral because old electoral rolls from 2002 to 2005 are not even machine readable. Yet citizens are expected to rely on them, and even small spelling or data mismatches are leading to deletions of names. See, what's more worrying is the scale of deletions already seen in the draft rules, and that should have been treated as a red flag. And the Election Commission argues that errors can be fixed through appeals. But one round of appeal cannot fix a problem of this size. Why? Because appeals only help people who know they have been deleted and they have the time to visit offices, have documents, internet access, literacy, and confidence to deal with the officials. If someone doesn't realize their name is missing or cannot afford to fight the system, then the deletion becomes permanent. The next article for the day, healthcare does not need the PPP route. See, this article is about medical colleges being set up through public-private partnership in Andhra Pradesh and why this model is being questioned. First, the background. Andhra Pradesh already expanded government medical colleges in the last few years. Now, the state plans to add 10 more medical colleges through PPP model, where private investors run colleges and district hospitals with government support. So, under the PPP model, government gives land for 66 years. Government provides district hospitals. Government gives 25% funding support. Government ensures patients and insurance coverage. Government even deputes engineers for construction. In return, the private investors controls the hospital and medical colleges. This is where the concerns begin. The first concern is privatization of public assets, because district hospitals are public assets which are meant for the poor. Now handing them over to private players for decades means loss of public control over the healthcare. The second concern is affordability and access. Now, earlier government colleges have a mixed fee system where half the seats were expensive. Now under PPP, there is fear that poor and middle class students will lose the affordable seats and the capitation fees may increase and merit and social justice may suffer. And the third concern is quality and staffing. Private investors may cut corners in appointing faculty, compromise on quality of education, focus on profits rather than training good doctors. So medical faculty are already in short supply. Rapid expansion without staff can collapse the quality. Next, the fourth concern, which is the risk imbalance. Now, most risks lies with the government. If the private investor fails, the hospital suffers. Legal remedies take years. The state lacks strong regulatory capacity, and India already struggles to regulate private healthcare properly. Now, the fifth concern is public health system damage. The PPP hospitals fragment the health system. They weaken the primary health, referral systems, and continuum of care for chronic diseases. Evidence shows that strong public primary care can reduce hospitalization by 30%. So instead of strengthening that, the state is focusing on hospital-centric private models. The sixth concern is rural healthcare prices. The doctors trained through costly education prefer cities, they prefer private hospitals, they prefer foreign jobs. This worsens shortages in rural and government hospitals. Finally, the big question, is PPP really the only option? The article argues no. There are other ways to raise funds, like healthcare needs a strong state, not a weak regulator outsourcing the responsibility. See, regarding this air pollution, we have seen multiple articles regarding that, so I'm skipping it, okay? So the next article is the social scourge. This article says child marriage is not just a social problem, it is a development failure. And India has committed to end child marriage by 2030 under the Sustainable Development Goals. And there has been progress. Now, child marriage rates have fallen from about 47% in 2005-2006 to around 23% in 2019-21. But in a country as large and unequal as India, this progress is uneven as well as fragile. There is a direct correlation between child marriage, poverty, and education, and this has been derived by the UN Population Fund based on the NFHS data. Okay. See, India does have a law, the Prevention of Child Marriage Act 2006. But in reality, the law is rarely enforced and conviction rates are very low. On the other hand, strict laws like POCSO sometimes create fear. Families and girls avoids hospitals or legal help, pushing young girls towards unsafe and illegal solutions, harming their health even more. Now we already know the consequences. Child marriage leads to poor maternal health, higher infant mortality, school dropouts, lifelong poverty, and loss of agency for women. Now, what is worrying is that even states that offer incentives for girls' education still see high child marriage rates. This shows that cash schemes alone are not enough. That is, girl stays in school only when schools are safe, toilets exist, transport is secure, and families see real future opportunities. So the message here is you cannot end child marriage with awareness campaigns alone. Unless India seriously addresses the poverty, education gaps, health access, and gender inequality, child marriages will continue. And that is quietly undermining the development as well. The next article for the day, mediation is a successful cost effective tool, says CJI. See, instead of fighting cases for years in courts, mediation helps people sit together, talk, and find solutions peacefully. And our CJI has described it as a shift from a culture of judgment to a culture of participation and harmony. The Chief Justice said that courts should move towards a multi-door courthouse model. Please note this keyword, which is multi-door courthouse model, meaning court should not be only about trials but also about mediation, settlement, and dialogue. Because mediation is faster, cheaper, less stressful, and a win-win for both the sides. The Supreme Court has also launched an initiative called Mediation for Nation to spread awareness not just among people who come to courts but also among lawyers, judges, and institutions. The next article, government to continue with its reforms, boost ease of living, Prime Minister. See, from this article what you can take is, according to the government, 2025 marks a shift in governance from complicated rules to outcome based reforms, and one major change is in taxation. Now income up to 12 lakh is tax free. So that is one thing. Then Income Tax Act 2025 has simplified the compliance and made the tax system clearer and more taxpayer friendly. Okay, and if you take the labor side, now we have only 4 labor codes. So these are some of the reforms that has made the ease of living possible. See the next article for the day, invasive mosquito species threatens India's 2030 malaria elimination goal. Urban malaria has now become a serious national concern for us because the biggest reason is the spread of an invasive mosquito species called Anopheles stephensi. Okay, unlike traditional malaria mosquitoes, this one thrives in cities like Delhi and other metros. So it breeds in water tanks, tires, construction sites, and artificial containers, which are very common in urban areas, and that makes malaria harder to control in cities. Now India has set a big target like zero indigenous malaria cases by 2027 and complete elimination by 2030, which is in line with the WHO goals. But there are challenges because malaria today is not spread evenly across India. It survives in small high risk pockets, especially in Odisha, Tripura, Mizoram. Another problem is asymptomatic cases. People carry malaria but don't show symptoms, so they unknowingly spread it. Population movement, difficult terrain, and weak health access in tribal and forest areas also keep the transmission alive. The good news is that India has made huge progress. Like malaria cases fell from 11.7 lakh to about 2.27 lakh. The death have also dropped by 78%. But to reach elimination, the health ministry says India must strengthen the surveillance, improve vector monitoring, ensure steady supply of diagnostics and medicines, address drug and insecticide resistance, and improve private sector reporting. The next article for the day is UIDAl to expand full service Aadhaar centers to 473 by September. See, right now, adults who want to enroll for Aadhaar or update biometrics have very limited options. There are only 88 full-fledged Aadhaar centers across the country, and many people have to travel across districts just to update fingerprints or correct names. To fix this, now UIDAl has decided to expand adult Aadhaar centers from 88 to 473. So these centers will handle new Aadhaar enrollment for adults, biometric updates, name changes beyond online limits. However, on data integrity and security, they have tightened the rules. Aadhaar is now issued to adults only after field verification, especially due to concerns over illegal immigration. And most adult applicants are NRIs or overseas citizens of India. And Aadhaar is not proof of citizenship. Even foreign nationals living in India can have one. The next article is barrier free tolling safety top agenda of transport ministry. The government plans to pass a new road safety bill. The objective is to strengthen the traffic laws, improve enforcement, and fix gaps in accountability. And road accidents in India are not just due to bad roads but also overspeeding, drunk driving, poor enforcement, and weak deterrence. Because if you take the numbers, India loses around 1.8 lakh people every year in road accidents. That is one of the highest numbers in the world. And the other one is seamless barrier free tolling. This means no toll booths, no stopping or slowing down, and automatic toll collection through technology. The aim is to reduce congestions at toll plazas, prevent accidents caused by sudden braking, and improving the travel speed as well as the fuel efficiency. The next article for the day, India's small business credit resilient and perked up. According to the CRIF SIDBI Small Business Spotlight report, credit to small businesses is expanding steadily and asset quality remains healthy. The key points you should remember are total small business credit has reached 46 lakh crore and it is growing 16% year on year. The second is active loan accounts has increased to 7.3 crores and this is showing wider access to formal credit. And the third one is this growth is supported by government MSME credit schemes and policy support. Okay, these are the 3 points that you should remember. Okay, the next article for the day is norms for opening coal mines notified. Earlier, coal companies needed approval from the Coal Controller Organization to open a new coal mine, start mining a new section of a seam, or restart a mine that had been shut for more than 6 months. So they need approval. And already UPSC prelims they asked this question regarding Coal Controller Organization. Okay, now this approval is no longer needed. Instead, the board of directors of the coal company itself can give the go ahead. However, this does not mean free clearance. The company must first obtain all required approvals from the central or state governments and other statutory authorities. Only after that can the board approve the operations. The company also has to inform this coal controller organization once the mine is opened. See, the last article for the day, US struck IS forces in Nigeria after the group targeted Christians. See, overall what is important from this article is two things. Lakurava group and the other one is the Sokoto state. Now, just look into the Sokoto state in the map and Lakurava group, know that it is a Islamic State affiliated group because once in UPSC prelims they ask this question of Boko Haram. Likewise, they may ask a question regarding Lakurava group. That's it. That's all for today. Thank you all for joining.